9 runs. That was the margin at the Oval in August 1882, when Australia broke England on home soil for the first time, and a satirical obituary in the Sporting Times declared English cricket dead, its body to be cremated and the ashes taken to Australia. From that single joke, an entire rivalry was born. But how did a mocking newspaper column become a tiny terracotta urn that two nations have fought over for 140 years? The answer starts with a grieving widow, a burnt bale, and a velvet bag stitched by hand. Before we go further, you'll meet the bowler who took 14 wickets in a day to trigger it all, the captain accused of trying to maim batsmen with a leather ball at 90 miles per hour, and moment number 3, a single delivery in 1981 that nearly ended a career and instead rewrote history. If you love cricket's greatest stories, subscribe to Cricket Chronicles, new legends every week. Now back to a summer afternoon in London where England is chasing 85 to win and everything is about to unravel. Chapter 1. The Oval, 29th of August 1882. England need only 85 runs in the 4th innings against Australia. It should be routine. Then a lean, mustachioed fast bowler named Fred Spofforth, already nicknamed the Demon, tells his teammates in the dressing room, "This thing can be done." What follows is one of the most extraordinary spells in Test history. Spofforth takes 7 wickets for 44 runs, finishing with match figures of 14 for 90. England collapse for 77. Australia win by 7 runs. Spectators faint. One is said to have died of a heart attack. Another gnaws through the handle of his umbrella. The next morning, a young journalist named Reginald Shirley Brooks publishes a mock obituary in the Sporting Times. English cricket, it reads, has died at the Oval. The body will be cremated and the ashes taken to Australia. The joke should have faded in a week. Instead, it defined a century. Chapter 2. That winter, England's captain Evo Bligh sailed to Australia, vowing to bring back those symbolic ashes. During a social match at Rupert's Wood, a country estate in Victoria, a group of women, among them Florence Morphy, burnt something, most likely a bale, sealed the ashes inside a small terracotta urn, and presented it to Bligh. Florence would later marry him. The urn was a private gift, 6 inches tall, fragile as a teacup. Bligh kept it on his mantelpiece for the rest of his life. Only after his death in 1927 did his widow hand it to the Marylebone Cricket Club at Lord's, where it sits today, behind glass, older than most of the countries that now play the game. The trophy is a replica. The urn has never truly been surrendered. Chapter 3. The early decades were feral. Australia's Victor Trumper danced down muddy pitches in the 1900s and produced innings so beautiful that opposing bowlers applauded him. Then came Wilfred Rhodes, Jack Hobbs, Warwick Armstrong, huge personalities on both sides. But no series in history has ever burned as hot as the winter of 1932-33. England, terrified of one man, Donald Bradman, arrived in Australia with a plan. Bradman averaged nearly 100 in Test cricket. He was, statistically, twice as good as anyone else who has ever played. So Captain Douglas Jardine ordered his fast bowlers, led by the miner's son Harold Larwood, to bowl short and straight at the batsman's body, with a ring of close fielders on the leg side. They called it leg theory. Australia called it bodyline. Batsmen were struck on the chest, the skull, the heart. Wicket-keeper Bert Oldfield's skull was fractured. The crowd nearly rioted at Adelaide. A diplomatic cable was sent from Australia to London using the word unsportsmanlike, and for a moment 2 nations of the same empire seemed ready to sever ties over a game. England won the series 4-1. Bradman's average dropped to a merely mortal 56, but the cost was so high that the laws of cricket were rewritten. Larwood, the working-class hero who had done exactly what his captain asked, was quietly discarded and never played for England again. Years later, he emigrated to Australia, where his old enemies welcomed him like family. The rivalry, somehow, had made peace with itself. Chapter 4. And now, moment number 3. Headingley, July 1981. Australia have England on the ropes. England follow on, collapse to 135 for 7, still 92 runs behind. Bookmakers post odds of 500 to 1 against an England win. 2 Australian players allegedly place a bet. In walks Ian Botham, a bruised, out-of-form all-rounder who had just resigned the captaincy in disgrace after a pair at Lord's. His career, in that moment, hangs by a thread. What happens next belongs to folklore. Botham smashes 149 not out, hooking, driving, laughing. Then fast bowler Bob Willis, wild-eyed and running downhill, takes 8 wickets for 43. England win by 18 runs. Only twice in the entire history of Test cricket has a team won after following on. This was one of them. Botham did not lose his career. He became a knight. Chapter 5. Since then, the urn has changed hands again and again. Australia's dominance under Steve Waugh and Ricky Ponting in the 1990s and 2000s. The 2005 series, often called the greatest ever played, decided by 2 runs at Edgbaston when Michael Kasparovich gloved a Steve Harmison bouncer and Andrew Flintoff, victorious, knelt to console him. Then Australia's 5-0 whitewashes, England's counterpunches, Ben Stokes at Headingley in 2019, dragging his side to a 1-wicket win with an unbeaten 135 that felt like Botham reincarnated. Chapter 6. So what is the Ashes, really? A tiny urn a widow gave to Lords, a dead joke from a Victorian newspaper. A story about 2 countries who love each other and cannot stop testing each other, summer after summer, for 140 years and counting. Every generation writes a new chapter, and every generation swears its own was the greatest. The truth is, they are all part of the same long, unfinished sentence, still being written, one delivery at a time. If this story gave you goosebumps, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Next week on Cricket Chronicles, we open the file on the 2005 Ashes, the summer that saved Test cricket. Don't miss it.